Hello, everyone, and welcome to this August news episode of What's New in Cloud FinOps with myself, Stephen Old, and my great friend,
Frank Contrepoix.
Hello, Frank.
Hello.
Hello. It's an easy one for me today, isn't it? I'm on Azure and Google, and there's a lot more AWS.
Yeah, but, a lot more is still not much.
Yeah, it's holiday season, isn't it?
It's holiday. It's August. Everyone. Lots of people were not there for how much they say they work 12 months without interruption. It's still cooler in August.
Yeah, you've lived in quite a few countries now, and yes, been of working age, or certainly felt it. Is there a noticeable difference in August? Certainly, because I've worked with a French company, right, and it did feel like the company stopped in August.
Yeah. In Italy, it completely stops, for example, also, and usually it is for good reasons. It's because it's too hot. Yeah. And it predates aircon. It is when you add 40, 45 degrees in the office, Celsius I'm talking. Yes, you can't work. It's just non-bearable. And even the kids, you need to have them on holiday also because it's just as much. But
at the beach. Nice. Yeah, if listeners think we prepped these things, that was an entirely surprise drop on Frank. Well covered. I was just interested because it has, August does feel quieter, even in the UK, but not compared to when I've worked for the companies. All right, let's get you a noise.
There we go, instances and compute, and there are some of them. So the first one was Amazon EC2 single GPU P5 instances are now generally available. So I think last month we spoke about the instance with 128 GPUs or something absolutely enormous. This one is a little one.
It's a little one, isn't it?
Amazon, AWS announces new Amazon Elastic Cloud Compute P5 instance size with one NVIDIA H100 GPU that allows business to right-size their machine learning and high-performance computing resources with cost effectiveness. So the new instance enables customers to start small and scale in gradual increment, providing more flexible control over infrastructure cost. So it is really good to develop small to medium large language models, so that chatbots, specialized language translation tools. You can run some inference tasks more economically.
As I say, more economically. Let's see how much they cost.
But so overall, it is quite cool. So the P5 4x large instances are now available through EC2 capacity block for ML. So that, I think, is the big thing, is capacity. How long do you need to commit for capacity block? Because if I remember well, you cannot just buy them and say, I want that. You need to block the GPUs and pay for them for some time.
Just trying to see on the website.
Me too. And you can see again that we're not prepared.
No, I don't think you're going to go down this route. Well, let me just jump in pricing and see what it says in the pricing.
Yeah, here we go. Pricing, for the Amazon EC. Okay.
On-demand capacity reservations.
Yeah, capacity block for ML. Here we go. So cost, and you need to. Okay, the cost. Estimate your monthly goes to the calendar. Usage with per second billing. Is based on 1 second in with a minimum of 60 seconds. You can reserve GPU instance in advance. Okay, so you need to block it in advance. And it's not the usual way of buying compute. Let's put it this way. I'm going to summarize it now.
I'm looking at the capacity reservation pricing page.
Yes.
Capacity reservations are charged at the equivalent on-demand rate whether you run instances in reserved capacity or not. If you do not use the reservation, this shows up as an unused reservation on your on your Amazon EC2 bill. When you run an instance that matches attributes to reservation, so that's quite normal. Now, what does it say about timing?
This is capacity block for ML. It's very specific.
Yeah. Well, that's a build-up on top of this one. So I'm just trying to... I think. That's very interesting. I know I'm trying to scan through it. In this example, the capacity reservation is provisioned to account for 5 hours. Capacity reservation unused for the first hour. Oh, so that sounds like they've reserved by the hour.
So maybe just capacity management, and that's it. They just check that.
Yeah. And then
the limit.
The Amazon learn about EC2 capacity plan blocks. You reserve just the amount of capacity you need to run your machines. The reservation fee is charged up front at the time you schedule the reservation. Reservation prices, that's not what we need to know.
Okay, but yeah, so you need to, so you can, at the moment, the instances we're talking about, so those P5 seems to be available exclusively through this capacity reservation for capacity block for ML. So it's not, there is no on-demand or reserved instance or savings plans. It's EC2 capacity blocks for ML.
I can't even see it on the pricing page for that as it stands, but I'm still trying to look at what the minimum.
Well, I'll continue there to the next thing we have, which is best performance and fastest memory with the new Amazon EC2 R8i and R8i Flex instances. So today we're announcing the general availability of the new 8th generation memory optimized R8i and R8i Flex. So those are powered by custom Intel Xeon 6 processor available only to AWS. They deliver the highest performance and fastest memory bandwidth available among comparable Intel processors in the cloud. Those instances deliver up to 15% better price performance, 20% higher performance, and 2.5 times more memory throughput compared to the previous generation instances. So they are now ideal for memory-intensive workloads, so SQL, NoSQL databases, SAP HANA in-memory database, etc., etc. So the caching system. So in turn, so they offer 20% better better performance than the R7i. Let me see. So they are 30% faster for PostgreSQL, 60% on Nginx web application, and 40% faster for AI deep learning recommendation models, compared to the previous version. So what is the Flex? As usual, I'm still struggling with the Flex thing. So it costs like 5% less.
Burst. It's burst capacity, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I've gone and dug more into the Amazon EC2 capacity blocks for ML.
Yes.
And all it tells you is you can reserve for up to 8 weeks in advance and for a maximum of 6 months.
Okay.
But it doesn't tell us the minimums.
Okay. Well. So and I want to and going back to this one is R8i Flex instances are more affordable version. Okay, offering up to 5% better price performance at 5% lower price
than a normal.
Yeah, it's the 5% seems, I don't know. You get 5% lower price, which is good.
Well, then you've got 5% better price performance as long as your performance is the same, haven't you? So those two, if the two numbers are matching, that's what it would suggest.
Yeah, or better. Well, so you should be using the Flex. My guess is that for the Flex, they are putting more instances into the same servers.
Maybe
so they're leveraging the fact that no one really uses 95% of their CPU, except for rare cases. But it's so 5% discount. But they're more offering up to 5% better price performance. So it's a ratio again. Anyway, so yeah, the Flex. I haven't done the math.
This is the beginning of the 8s, isn't it? So we didn't have R8s.
No. No, we did not.
Yeah, so they're saying the R8 and the R8i Flex offers 20% better performance than the R7i, with even higher gains for specific workloads. I see the line you're saying is comparing the 8i to the Flex.
Yeah, the Flex and the non-Flex. So the Flex is 5% cheaper, and those instances can reach up to the full CPU performance 95% of the time.
Okay, I'm just looking at the instance types to see if there's any difference. Specs. lower down.
I think it's just
They look
when they
exactly
say
the
you
same.
need sustainable high CPU or EBS performance, such as analytics. It seems that's when you might need when you R8i. Otherwise, you can use the Flex. I'm still confused with the Flex, I
They're
admit.
designed for workloads that benefit from the latest generation performance but don't fully use all compute resources. These instances can reach up to the full CPU performance 95% of the time and work well for in-memory databases, distributed web scales, cache stores, mid-size in-memory analytics, real-time, blah, blah, blah. So I think you're right. I think it's coming to how they manage infrastructure. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's something to do with people saying, and I need to go check what 8s are versus 7s, so I'll go check that in a minute. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's the people saying, well, I'm not going to upgrade anymore because unless I can upgrade to a point or the performance boost is enough that I can half the size of my instance, there's no price benefit to it.
Yep.
And the performance benefit's not there enough. You have to be in a very small kind of cash window of it being worthwhile. And this might be their attempt. If 7s and 8s are comparable on price, which I'll go and check, that says it makes more sense to use.
Yeah, at the same time, I'm quite happy to use this. I mean, almost no one uses 100% CPU all the time. Okay, but in my experience, and I'm very happy to be proven wrong, but most of the time, even for high memory things, the memory is the constraint, CPU less so. And so it is quite interesting you should always use the Flex, roughly. That's what I'm getting at. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be pretty rare that you wouldn't, right? So I'm just looking at 7i. So it's the R7i, and it's the R's that we're comparing, isn't it, in this case? So the R7i on demand is different X large 2646, and then let me just change that.
Well, you also have that there is a maximum size.
Okay, so the X large is more expensive for the normal R8X. And let me now get the Flex, R88 Flex Extra Large, 2639. So it's slightly cheaper than the previous generation. So that's why. So they're doing it in a way that they can offer a cheaper one. I mean, it's tiny amounts cheaper. It's really tiny amounts cheaper. But I think that's why they're doing it, so they can offer one that is more performant for lower price, but they're giving themselves some flex in the fact that it's that you're basically getting burst capacity because you're not expecting to use it all the time.
Exactly, and so at maximum, also the other thing is the size is maximum 16x large, and so maximum 64 vCPU and half a tera of memory, while you can go to 96x large with 3 terabyte and 384.
In the pricing data, I can only see up to 4x large.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
There we go.
But on that previous page that we were both on, obviously there was more.
Yeah.
But that's interesting, isn't it? There we go. Oh, I thought we were going to have nothing to talk about today. Look at all
there we go. And we have in the same way, we have also the M8i and M8i Flex instances, which are now available. And so they are general purpose M with the same custom Intel Xeon, with sustained all-core 3.9 gigahertz turbo frequency. And they have the highest performance and fastest memory bandwidth. So the point is, in the past, M was for memory, but we've just spoke about
M's general purpose, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but it's the highest
memory, R for RAM, isn't it? It's R for RAM.
Fastest memory bandwidth. But anyway, okay. They're ideal for purpose workloads such as web application server, virtual desktop, batch processing, microservice, database, enterprise application. In terms of performances, these instances typically up to 60% faster on Nginx web application, 30% faster for PostgreSQL, which I think was exactly the same as the other one. The difference is that the maximum size goes to 1.5 terabyte of memory, while I think the one we've just spoke about was around 3.
Well, let's just compare the the X large is 432 on the R's and 416
Yeah.
So you're getting less memory. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting less memory. You're getting half the memory, really.
Yeah, pretty much. And let me just compare the Flex. Sorry, I've got to just do the 8X. So the 8X, 8iX large is a bit more expensive. I'd guess just under 5%. I haven't actually done the maths on that. I'm just doing an eyeball test at the moment. But you have a slight price decrease on, I think it's like 0.05%
Okay,
on the Flex again. So they're following the same rules.
Okay, so if I buy the Flex, in theory, on the 8th generation, I'm cheaper than the standard 7.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about 0.2016 against 0.2011.
Yeah, okay, but I think
it is cheaper.
Yeah, it is cheaper. The idea is stronger. It's faster for the same price.
Yeah, exactly, with better price performance. Therefore, the only thing is with Flex, don't you get charged if you go over the kind of Flex amount? I can't remember, or do they throttle you?
I think they will throttle you.
Is it throttle? Fine, there we go. So I just wanted to warn people if there's a risk of that. We have to check on that. But have a look at these. That's the first. I mean, I want to say it's bucked the trend. It hasn't. The trend has continued in terms of an increase around between 5 and 6.25%, ignoring the 6 to 7 AMDs, which was 34%. The difference is we've got this Flex option, which is giving you about a 0.5% decrease.
It's the same price. I think you can keep it.
It's a bit like 5 to 6, isn't it? It's a bit like the 5 to 6.
Yes. So you can get to the 7 to 8 at the same price if you use the Flex, and you will probably not need anything more than the Flex if you are not using 40 of 16X large.
But let's go back to the question. A lot of people have stayed on 6, especially 6As, right? Because they're really great value. These are just on the eyes. As it stands for me, while these are more price performant, I'd assume, and we need Anthony to come and check this for us, but they are still going to be more expensive than running your 6A or running your 6i. So again, if you're going from 6 to 7, you're probably looking for a size. You need the performance increase to be enough to possibly drive a size reduction to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, and if you do a size reduction, usually you almost divide by 2 the price, so it becomes very interesting. And then so try when on your right sizing exercises, maybe try that. If you are going to the 7 to the 8, or directly from 6 to 8. Try to see if you can drop.
I believe you've got a compound benefit of something like, was it 15 to 20% price performance improvement to another 20% price performance improvement? So compound, that might be enough to make it worthwhile for people.
Well, or make it, as you say, to drop one size.
Yeah, I mean, to drop the size, that's what I mean. You've got enough performance benefit there to maybe let you drop size. We'll see. The price performance one's always challenging, isn't it? And based on workload type.
It's you.
I'm finally meant to talk.
Oh, come on.
I know I've been talking all this time, but it's not even my turn. Generally available, Azure Functions Flex Consumption Plan now supports 512 megabyte instance size and diagnostic settings. It's exactly what it sounds like on the tin. You can just go down to half a gig now, as well as the 2 and 4 gig options as the memory instance size for the Flex Compute apps. And therefore cheaper. You've got a smaller building block to play with. The other piece of news I've got is that it's generally available at the Azure 128 and 192 vCPU sizes for the ESV6 and EDSV6 series VMs are now launched. I think we mentioned it previously. Bear in mind the 192 offers 1,832 gigabytes of RAM. I don't want to say 1.8 because it's probably not 1.8.
No, it's not. It depends.
Exactly. And so that's really, I think it's going to make anything cheaper anyway. Maybe something's going to run better. But we always talk about those pieces of news as they come out.
Yeah, the interesting bit I find is that this is not the kind of news we see on AWS, for example, that they say, we have a new instance size. I don't remember seeing a news that say, hey, this instance type has now...
We do when they're smaller. We have seen bits of news when they're smaller. I don't think we've ever seen them when they're bigger.
Interesting. Yes. Cool.
I think. But yeah, it is different. The type of news we get from each of them is definitely different. Sorry, I've just got a notification in the way of me pressing
But I think you missed one before of yours.
No, that's all one big one. That's just all the big piece of news.
Okay, so we have Data DB AI, and it is Amazon DynamoDB adds support for console to code. So DynamoDB is announcing the support to console to code powered by Amazon Q Developer, and the idea it's console to code makes it simple, fast, and cost effective, which is what got me to create DynamoDB resources at scale by getting you started with the automation code. So DynamoDB is serverless, and in this case, console to code helps you record those actions that you do when you learn a prototype cloud solution, and use generative AI to suggest code in your preferred infrastructure code format for the actions you want. You can use this code as a starting point for infrastructure automation and further customize for your production workloads. So for example, with console to code, you can record creating an Amazon DynamoDB table and choose to generate code for the AWS CDK, TypeScript, Python, Java, or CloudFormation. So overall, you try it out, it records it, and then it's capable of creating the code that goes that would do the same stuff, which is quite cool.
Yeah, it's quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Oh, is it still me?
Yeah.
Yes, I do have another one. Okay, that's just an anniversary. This is celebrating 10 years of Amazon Aurora innovation. And it's fun because when you're like me, you say, "Oh yeah, Aurora is recent," and oh no, not that much. So 10 years ago, we announced the general availability of Amazon Aurora. And I can tell you the interesting bit about that. So it's not really FinOps, it's more technical. One of the certification I passed it was the DB specialty. And the way they've structured the storage and the organization of Aurora underpins almost every serverless system they've created in the last 10 years. So everything that is caching or etc., all based on Aurora, which is quite a cool system. So that was just, thank you, Aurora, for the 10 years.
I remember when it came out, how big a deal it was, because we were doing stuff in, God, that makes me feel old. We were doing stuff in the e-commerce space. And for the response time we needed, Aurora was a game changer. And for the fact that we need so many read replicas and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
Well, yeah, if you were coming from a database, table database, it is great still.
Yeah.
But yeah.
100%.
There we go.
Storage.
Yes,
Yeah, a nice simple one. Public preview of Azure Storage Discovery. So this came out, I think about the 6th or the 8th. Azure Storage Discovery provides enterprise-wide visibility into your Azure Storage data estate. So insights that weren't available before are now available to you, and you can deeply, apparently, analyze used capacity, activity, optimize costs, enhance security, and drive operational efficiency. So the Storage Discovery integrates with Copilot. You can unlock insights across your data estate and accelerate decision-making by simply asking for what you need to know, apparently. Whether you're a cloud architect, storage administrator, or data governance lead, Azure Storage Discovery helps you quickly answer key questions like how much data is stored across all my storage accounts, which regions are experiencing the fastest growth, and where can I reduce costs by adjusting access tiers or removing stale data. So very useful on that front because they haven't got intelligent tiered storage like AWS. It apparently comes in 2 pricing plans. Free, which includes the basic insights, and then of course standard, which unlocks full insights and is free to use until September the 30th. Charges begin on October the 1st. So lob it in now, everyone, if you're listening today, and switch it off on the 30th and see what insights you get. When you deploy Discovery Workspace into your Azure resource group, you can start analyzing your data estate across subscriptions within hours. They'll even provide historical data for up to 30 days before your workspace creation. Over time, Azure Storage Discovery enables you to analyze annual trends like peaks and valleys in business workloads with up to 18 months of data retention included. I assume on standard.
Yeah, that's I like cool, the name. It is absolutely cool. It is interesting, and want to see what you can do with all that stuff.
I might test it out. I've got a client at the moment who we're reviewing storage, so we might give it a go.
Yes, give it a go, and I'll put some
Sorry.
pressure on myself to deliver this podcast fast. Visibility, billing conductor tag, cost categories, and it's yours.
Oh, it is mine. Damn, I wasn't prepared at all. This is the Google one, cloud monitoring. This is out of the release notes on the 5th of August. You can now use the time series build for queries count metric, of course, which you've always wanted to use for estimating charges based on the number of time series that have been queried. For more information, you can see the view the number of time series build for queries document. Billing by time series queried isn't enforced until October the 2nd. For more information, see Cloud Monitoring Pricing Summary.
Yeah.
There we go. It's the release notes. That's about the best you can get out of the release notes, isn't it?
Absolutely. And then I have Streamline AWS Cost Analytics with new customized billing and cost management dashboards. So today we are excited to announce the general availability of Billing and Cost Management Dashboard, a new feature with AWS Billing and Cost Management that allows you to display multiple views and billing and cost data in a single page. With Billing Cost Management Dashboard, you can create customized view that combine data from AWS Cost Explorer, commitment coverage, etc., etc. So you do not have to move between pages. I've done some, so you can create your customized dashboard, which is really cool because in the past you need to go through the different pages of Cost Explorer, and they've done, because I tested immediately, they've done, even if it's not exactly intuitive, but it works, that you can have, you select your date in one place and all the graphs will adapt to that date, so that range, because when you need to have 1 month and the default is 3 months, every time you change in Cost Explorer where you are looking at, it would change back to 3 months. You'd have to go back to click, and I would forget half of the time and get very frustrated. So it is there. The amount
me and filters are not best friends at the best of times, to be honest.
Yes, there we go. But when I tried it, the amount of widgets was very limited, like 5 on one, these 10 in total.
Yeah.
When you know the amount of stuff that there is in Cost Explorer, it's not. But it is a good start. You can try it out, and hopefully over time that's going to increase. But yeah, being able to see multiple things together will create some context, as I'm quite passionate about at the moment, around this data. Nice. And that's it.
Skipping a few, aren't we?
Yeah, it's FinOps. So that is which one is that? Scale to a new height. So AWS services scale to new heights for Prime Day 2025, key metrics and milestone. So I found that quite interesting. So it's not really FinOpsy, but at the same time it is FinOpsy though. So it gives you a very high level insight of what are the services, the AWS services that are used by Amazon during Prime Day. So first of all, it confirms that Amazon uses AWS, which is not a given, but they were showing that they've used the Gravitons, they've used SageMaker to do something, they've used the ECS, Fargate, etc. And you can go through the stats and see the stuff. So they, for example, Aurora processed 500 billion transactions, stored 4,000 petabytes of data, and transferred 999 terabytes of data. But what is very interesting, in my opinion, is the amount of a product being used. Okay, they use Outpost, and that's inside their warehouses, but then there is EC2, SageMaker, ECS, FIS, Lambda, API Gateway, CloudFront, EBS, Aurora, DynamoDB, Elastic Cache, DataStream, SQS, GuardDuty, and CloudTrail. Those are all the ones they list. So that's what Prime or Amazon.com looks like from the AWS perspective.
Nice. Right. Another noise.
Yeah, for Misk Silly, that was introducing Amazon Application Recovery Controller Region Switch.
What does that mean?
So first, if you want to summarize it, it's going to be the AARCR, which is absolute crap, a multi-region application recovery service. So as a developer advocate, let me see. Which one was that? I say it was quite cool. It gives you a centralized solution to coordinate and automate recovery tasks across AWS services and region. when you need to switch your application operation from one region to the other. So it is about, yes, it is about disaster recovery in particular and making it simpler. And I consider disaster recovery is one of the biggest costs that we have or that we organize, but that is there that no one knows about. You don't know how to connect it with or how it works. I think anything you can learn as a FinOps practitioner on that bit, which can be huge, and I've been inside a couple of tests and or catastrophes, it's important that everyone understands what they're looking at and the costs also, because if you have a full-on to active or something like this instance, you might be paying huge amount of money for that protection, which might be good for the business or might be exaggerating the cloud times. So have a look at that and familiarize yourself. There are tons of links. Check it out. And that's it for me. I was also trying to add some news inside this quite empty.
Well, we've ended up filling the time just because we ended up researching stuff on the fly.
Yeah, because we can speak about that stuff for all day long.
Yeah. If people ever asked us to get rid of the instant stuff, the podcast would be half the length.
Yes. There we go.
At least today it was about FinOps. It was FinOps stuff.
Absolutely. And I think
perfect.
I think we're done there.
We are. Thank you, Frank, and thank you to your magic machines that now find the news. Although I think some of the most interesting news were found manually today.
Yes. So I'd love you to search for 1 month or next month so we can then compare and I can find ways to improve.
Indeed. Rather than me just looking 5 minutes before we start recording.
Yes. Okay.
Indeed. Perfect. Well, thank you, Frank, and thank you, listeners, for listening to this August news. We've got a few people were waiting to join on for some
for interviews. Yeah, we have a couple of interviews being booked this month. We might not deliver them all on this month, but yep.
Yeah, 100%. Perfect. Well, thank you, everyone, and
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, and thanks for listening.